So the real lead story today is this January 6th report. Remember, my take on this was it was one of the worst things in American history, where on January 6th, a group of people decided to break into the Capitol and intrude on our elected leaders. So there is no excuse for this. People who make excuses for it are misguided. This was awful, and we need to find out what the deuce happened, right? Okay, back to me. So there was I don't know if it's an investigation, but there was a fact gathering done by two committees in the Senate, the Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee and the Rules and Administration Committee, okay? And a bipartisan but Democrat-led because they are the majority in the Senate with Vice President Harris as a tiebreaker. So the report is 127 pages long, and I want to give you the keys without any spin at all. All right, I'm not, and I don't spin anyway, but I'm not giving you any opinion. These are the conclusions that these two Senate committees came up with. First one is the report does not mention Donald Trump's involvement and does not describe the events of January 6th as an insurrection. That word is not used. There is no accusation toward Donald Trump. Second, Capitol Police intelligence officers knew as early as December 21st that protesters planned to bring guns and other weapons to Washington, D.C., and perhaps use them. So on December 21st, Capitol Police Intel knew. The Capitol Police itself, the organization itself, and they are the ones that protect the Capitol, they knew that protesters were sharing maps of the campus online and discussing the building's best entry points and how to seal them off to trap lawmakers inside. So we know now that there was a plan in place to assault the Capitol. 4, the report criticizes the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security, noting that neither group published an intelligence bulletin before the attack warning of any of this. So the FBI had to know this, and they didn't say anything. That's Christopher Wray, who, you know, at this point, I think we can all agree should not be the head of the FBI. It shouldn't. Okay. Next, the intelligence arm of Capitol Police disseminated security assessments labeling the threat of violence remote to improbable, even though they knew that there were protesters coming armed. That doesn't make any sense at all. So who's ever in charge of the Capitol Police intel's got to be fired right away. All right. The local D.C. police, all right, they broke down completely when called. They were not able to respond. Why? That's Mayor Muriel, whatever her name is. All right. Why? So you call the police, 911, nobody shows. And the seventh thing is the report falls to slow mobilization of the National Guard. This is a labyrinth that you can't possibly get into, but the Guard was ready to come in and did not. It's a mess. So I have said many times, I don't want Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer in charge of anything when it comes to January 6th, because essentially those two are not honest people. And I mean, you can disagree with me, but I don't see them as honest people. All they care about is power and to amass power for their party, the Democrats. They don't care what the truth is or what really happened or who's at fault. So when you hear, oh, this investigation by Congress and the Republicans don't want it and the Democrats do, just know that the reason the Republicans don't want it is they know the fix is in. That any investigation by the entire Congress will be used to batter the Republican Party and President Trump. Now, this committee thing that I just told you about, that doesn't seem to have been that way, but it's a much smaller outfit. So my posture, and I think it's sane and fair, is to allow the federal government, the Justice Department, to do what it is doing right now. So about 465 people have been arrested and charged in the Capitol riot. 465. That's a lot. Now let that play out. okay? Because most of these people will plead guilty and they'll make deals. Like they won't go to jail, but they'll tell you how they knew or where they got the gun or where, whatever it may be. Let all that unfold, okay? The Justice Department is compiling this. I would say 80% at least are going to take deals and they'll be convicted of whatever crime they're charged with. But in the process of that, the Justice Department will get information from the perpetrators themselves. Okay, once you got that baseline of information, if there are gaps that we don't know about, then Congress comes in. Is that fair? Does that make sense to everybody? So you take as much politics out of it. You're never going to take all the politics out of it. If they have a congressional hearing, it's going to be Republicans against Democrats. Trump is the devil. Trump did this. Trump did that. You know what it's going to be. And the networks are salivating over this because their ratings are just imploding. They have nothing to give you. Nothing. All right? And this would bump them up again. So they want that badly.